Hey, welcome back to the podcast. First, shout out FeedSpot. Thank you very much. Top motivational podcast for men based on criteria, based on content, based on a lot of stuff. Appreciate that. Greatly appreciate it. We rank number 5 according to their chart. So greatly appreciate that. In today's podcast, we're going to jump right into it. What if your greatest struggles are actually your biggest advantage? In my opinion, a lot of people, other people's opinion, success isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about leveraging adversity to build unshakable authority. In this episode, I'm going to break down how adversity sharpens your knowledge, your attitude, your skills, and your habits. That's the series that we just went over. Why struggle is the best training ground for energy, excitement, enthusiasm, and engagement, 4 E's, we're going to cover in this week's series. And the 5-step framework for turning your personal setbacks into power, confidence, and leadership. There's a huge part of that. Whether you know it or not, you're a leader. It's like I said before from General Patton's quote, lead, follow, or get out of the way. And basically comes down to this, how to create your own success momentum using adversity as fuel. You got to have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. You've been through a lot. You're either just coming out of adversity, you're right smack dab in the middle of it, or you're getting ready to go into it. You might as well be prepared. So I'll see you on the inside.
Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
So if this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, you know that I talk a lot about adversity. And I don't necessarily think that adversity is a bad thing. I think adversity is actually a good thing. And I think it's been given to you as a gift for you to figure out what to do with it, because that pain is now your purpose. So if you've ever felt stuck, underestimated, or felt like you've been left behind in life, because I know I've been all of that and then some, and that's again through my own self-affliction, this episode's for you. So listen now, take action, and I'd like you to become a force of nature in your own life. But it's going to take some practical application, working on the blueprint, working on yourself so that you can advance in your business, advance in your own personal life, and also advance in your relationship. So tune in now and share this with someone who you think need to hear it. Share it with as many people as you possibly can, and I greatly appreciate that. Please help me with ratings and reviews. I'm trying to get my rating count up. I do need that help in order for this podcast to grow. It is growing. It looks like it's about, last time I checked, about 700 downloads a day is what I think it is. So I'm pretty happy with that, but I'm still trying to get this thing growing to find more very cool people like you who are trying to take that pain, turn it into their purpose, and grow and help as many people as you can. Because let's just face it this way. You are a leader, you're worthwhile, and there's people counting on you. So let's be the best version of ourselves. Let's get into the program. So a book I want to reference, actually, I think it's a pretty cool book, and it is the book Relentless by Tim Grover. I referenced him before on the show, kind of getting back into it again. And he's the guy who was the personal trainer to Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade. He details about mentality that separates winners from everybody else. But I want to talk about Tim Grover for one quick second. This guy had the perseverance to keep showing up and keep trying to become not the Bulls trainer, but become Michael Jordan's trainer. And there's something to be said about that, because that guy got turned down quite a bit. Something about resilience, something about never giving up, something about knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits. What do you need to do? And here's a guy who got his chance. And by that chance, working with Michael Jordan and working with him at his level, Michael Jordan's level, think about that for a moment. Go watch The Last Dance like I did 10 times with a notepad. Get all the knowledge you can out of that. It's absolutely amazing. Watching that series on Netflix helped me become a better leader, helped me become a better business manager, helped me become a better parent. I think it helped me become a better person because there's so many lessons in there about what they went through. But it also helped Tim become a coach to personal trainer Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade also. It's a great book. Pick it up. His quote, "Being relentless means demanding more of yourself than anyone else could ever demand of you. How many times have you heard that? If you're a fan of this show, if you listen to this podcast, you know you've attracted stuff like that. You've seen it on social media. That's in your feed. You got to be tougher on yourself. You got to have that chip on your shoulder. You got to be willing to do what no one else is willing to do. And that's what the no comfort zone is all about. Listen, are you willing to go all in on your life? Are you willing to go all in? What's that knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits that you need to work on a continual and regular basis? What are those things that you really need to get better at? What are the things that you need to work harder at when no one's watching for you to become better? Hey, here's a big question, sports fans. Why do you want to get better? See, when I went through the whole rehab part, the first time I went through rehab thinking, man, I got to get better for everybody else. The counselors told me, the addiction therapist told me, you're going to fail because you're putting everybody else above your sobriety. What you need to do is you need to put sobriety first, because anything you put above that sobriety, everything else is going to fail. You're building on a bad foundation. And I realized that my second go around. One of the biggest no comfort zone moments for me in my life was, there's two of them. And I've been through a lot, folks, and I'm sure you have too. One of the scariest days of my life was literally going into rehab, because I knew I was going to have to change everything about myself and everything, and I was going to be gone for about 30 days. And I was it was scary for me. It was terrifying. Like, thinking about it now, I just realized how scary that was, to give up everything you're going to know about yourself and be ready to be reprogrammed in a different way. But the scariest day of my life, one of them, I guess, scarier than that day, I should say, was knowing that I have all the tools from rehab and then going out into the world and realizing that it's up to me now. Self-discipline, character, integrity, all those things that I know I have to apply. There is no more going back because I don't have any other chances. This is it. No more comas, no more prescriptions, no more escaping, no more running or hiding. This is it. So I had to be relentless in my pursuit to sobriety to become better. So I had to figure that part out. That's just true for me. What's true for you when it comes to your knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits? It might be something so simple as to just being better at work. That might be true for you. So I want to ask you something these are so simple that there's a lot of people that aren't in the no comfort zone. They just don't get it. There's a tribe of us. We understand it. We get it. We get the simplicity of it, but it's not easy, if you know what I'm talking about. There's people on the outside that are like, dude, why do you spend your time doing this? Because of the fulfillment, the reward, the pain that I went through, and the purpose that I have now. Because there's a lot of other people, man. There's a lot of other people that are like, dude, what am I going to do next? I don't know what to do. I just lost everything. I'm on the verge of losing everything. Dude, I don't know how I'm going to make this. There's some really bad things that happen to people, and they're not prepared for it. They're so distracted by everything else. Then when that reality check hits them, it's like, well, what do I do? Well, I want this podcast to be a resource. My hope is that you're a resource for somebody else. When it hits the fan for them, you're there for them. And you could tell them, hey, man, this is good. Adversity, I know it's horrible for you right now. It's a bad moment, but we're going to focus 1% how painful it is, 9% that, yeah, you have a problem, and then 90% is going to be, let's live in the solution. And to me, the solution has always been, whether it's business, leadership, speaking, my family, anything is now this blueprint that I have. It actually is a solution for me. And I dwell in the blueprint, and I'm happy, joyous, and free because I have structure and discipline that I can live by. That's me. And I want to share it with you. What if I told you that the biggest challenge in your life right now is actually your biggest opportunity? You see, most people actually avoid adversity, but the ones who succeed at the highest level, they use it to build unshakable authority, and success leaves clues everywhere you go. There are so many people out there that have had super bad things happen to them that have now realized that, okay, I'm not going back. I mean, movies are made about these people. And you think about it, their stories are told, but that's on a massive level. What if I just told you that you identify, write it down on paper. What is your biggest problem right now? That's half the battle, folks. Just writing it down. And when you know what the problem is, when you really know what the problem is and you start to look for a solution, you, the person who are doing it, start to become a better person, start to create better solutions, and can look at the problem from a better point of view. Because when you realize that that problem is not maybe as big as you thought it was, and as the more time and distance you get away from the problem, better opportunities present themselves. And yeah, more problems are going to come your way. But you have to evolve as a person, and that's what this is all about. Knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits. So, the power of adversity transitioning from the knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits, and now we're going to go into the 4 E's. See, your struggles built your cash flow. Your knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits. That's what you lacked. You lacked in those areas. Now you're working on those areas. Now, as you continue to develop those, it's time to apply it. How do you apply it? Here's another 4 for you. Energy, excitement, enthusiasm, and engagement. And this is the secret weapon for me. It's done very well in my life because, I just throw more energy at it. I just get excited about stupid shit. When it comes to enthusiasm, yeah, I'll do it, man. Let's go. Spirit within, godlike, let's go. When everybody's not happy about doing a certain thing, whatever that thing is, I get super engaged in a certain way and I run towards it. I just realize there's no sense complaining about it anymore. Literally, getting uncomfortable is a comfort spot for me. You're going to do it. You might as well do it. Where the problem is the duration. Where the problem is starting. Starting is easier now than it was before, but the duration, when you got to do things for like an hour, that's not hard. 2 hours, that's not hard. 3 hours, that's not hard. But when you got to do things for a month, that's when it becomes extremely difficult, but you got to break it down. Here's the truth about adversity. Most people fear it. Some people do endure it. But elite people, like the Jordans, like the people Tim Grover works with it, even himself, use it to their advantage. Think about that. Use it to your advantage when it comes to adversity. Use it as your enemy. Patrick Bet-David, he's got a book out, Choose Your Enemies Wisely. I'm currently reading it now, and I'm taking my notes on it. But literally, use it to your advantage. Make whatever is your adversity your enemy and go after it with gusto. Conquer it. Do your best to do that. We could talk on this podcast about a lot of different successful people. We can talk about adversity, Steve Jobs, being fired from Apple and then making his comeback. J.K. Rowling, the famous author, about all the rejections she received. We can talk about Jordan not making it to the high school team. We can talk about Tim Grover, how many times he tried to become the trainer to the Bulls to get rejected over and over and again. Finally to Jordan saying, hey, listen, I'd like to work out with this guy. It's cool if I have him aboard. And that's how that relationship started. But listen to this. What about the parent that's dealing with their child that's dealing with drug addiction? That's an adversity, right, folks? What about the guy who's about ready to lose everything financially? How does he face his neighbors? How does he face his wife? How does he face his kids? What about that guy? Sure, we can talk about adversity stories and we can talk about success, but how do you get from beaten down on your back, homeless, drug addicted, bankrupt, suicidal, coma, prescription drugs, lonely, alone, at the edge of your rope, not wanting to be here anymore, to, okay, I'm going to take a step in the right direction. I'm going to start. I'm going to put my foot on the starting line. I'm going to try this human race again. I want to be competitive in life again. That's amazing to me. That's a miracle, if you ask me. Because life can be hard. Life can beat you till every way till Sunday. But the truth, the fact, and the matter is this. For some reason, you're listening to this podcast. For some reason, you're going to share it with somebody. And I truly believe, I believe this with all my heart. I've been given 10 chances in life to come back over and over and over again. I wouldn't recognize myself from 15 years ago, let alone 20 years ago. And here I am working on this podcast with you, getting my message out to you because I do believe in you. Wherever you're at in this world, and we have listeners all over the world here. Wherever you're at, whatever you listen to, whatever your motivation is right now for listening to this, to get an advance in pay, to get a promotion, to figure out how you're going to feed your family, to figure out what's next and true for you, to how to get rid of that really bad adversity. You might have lost somebody in your life and you're not over it yet. You might be trying to reconnect with somebody in your family. You might be dealing with somebody with a really bad drug addiction. You might be, whatever might be true for you. I'm telling you, man, you can prepare by having a good mindset, by having goals in your life, by having a blueprint on what you need to work on so that you can look at these things a little bit differently. And you're going to need help from God. I'm telling you that. There is a God out there. He loves you. And I'm telling you, and I might, again, lose listeners on this, but that is okay because you've got to realize that all of the pain and suffering that you're going through, you don't have to. You have to have some simple guidance, some simple instructions, and all the stuff that I'm talking about somehow, some way, when you filter all the stuff that I'm talking about, it all goes back to the Bible anyway. It's the best self-help book, self-development, self-growth, but you got to give all your praise back to Jesus no matter what. He went through all the pain and suffering for us. And if you look at what you're going through right now in your life, it's important. You got to learn what that pain is because that's your purpose. And it was given to you as a gift, whether you believe it or not. It's so hard to understand that. I went through a lot of pain. You might have gone through worse. What are your ambitions now? Are you on the verge of losing everything? You're going to have to find a way to look in the mirror and say, I'm worthy and I am worthwhile. And this setback isn't forever. Whatever's going on in life right now, I'm grateful for. And this opportunity gives me an opportunity to show the world, the universe, and God exactly how bad I want it. With his help, I can get energy. I can get enthusiasm. I can definitely have energy, excitement, enthusiasm, and I can have an engagement. And I can push. I can do anything that I set my mind to if I have a plan. I'll outwork you. I can find the resources. Everything in life is figure outable. That's what people count on you for. This is truly what this podcast is all about. And I hope you're catching on to it right now. And I hope you're a little motivated and I hope you're inspired because when we put all of our problems in the middle and we all look at everybody else's problems, we're going to look back at that and go, you know what? No, I'd rather have my problems back. I know I sure would because I've seen some other people's problems and I'm like, man, they've got it pretty tough. I almost sound like a hypocrite when I do this podcast because what was true for me and my pain was self-inflicted. There's other people that have some challenges that go on right now, but I'll tell you what, become aware of who you are, identify, decide, take action, know what results you're looking for, know your purpose in life and take massive action. Do what's important right now. Work on your knowledge, your attitude, your skills, and your habits daily. And here's where we're at today. The shift in authority. There's a lot of things to cover in this week's podcast, and we're going to go through the 4 E's. Remember this is super important. You don't rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of training. How are you training yourself to win under pressure? Now, that's a quote from Relentless, the book by Tim Grover. And when I developed the 4 E's, that was to help me sell and lead people. That was help me to sell more, to get enthusiastic in my process because sales can be a very negative environment, a lot of rejection. Dealing with management can be a very negative thing. So I created the energy, excitement, enthusiasm, engagement for that. Then I applied it to my own life. Energy, control your emotions, amplify your drive. Excitement, build momentum through action. Enthusiasm, get obsessed with your own growth. A little bit more every single day. Engagement, be fully present and play at 100%. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. If you do that, you won't have any competition. Hope that makes sense. Success is truly going to come from stacking small wins under pressure. The number one mistake people make, they stop moving forward when things get hard. That's the no comfort zone, folks. You look for comfort when you hit the wall. That's when you got to push through. That's when you got to bite it and you got to go. Yeah, that's when you got to bite through the tree. That's when you got to run through the wall. That's when you got to say to yourself, you know what? What I want on the opposite side of this is more important than my little comfort. Someone that's going to go from being completely broke or completely consumed by debt to being financially free when they've beaten the addiction, they've saved their house, they kept their job, and now they're just working on their sobriety and trying to get their life back. It's pretty hard for them to think about, well, how am I going to retire eventually? I know, because that used to be me. But by applying those same principles that saved the marriage, saved the house, kept you sober, by applying those things is what's going to get you towards retirement. It's going to find peace and happiness, but you're going to have to contribute. You have to give back so that you can get more. One of the reasons I'm doing this, my life has become more fulfilled by sharing my stories of adversity, sharing my solutions, and helping people along the way. My life has gotten so much more fulfilling in so many different ways by meeting so many different people. I can reference this blueprint in this podcast every single day from a fulfillment point of view. Just remember this, adversity, it's not a stop sign, it's a starting line. And in Matt McConaughey's book, Green Lights, which is a great book, probably best if you actually get the audio version, which is what I did. You can't have green lights without red lights. Life's going to slow you down a little bit. My suggestion is this. In the next week that we come up, we're going to be talking about the 4 E's and how you apply that in your life according to the blueprint. You're going to have to know what goals you have. Keep your goals handy with you everywhere you go. Prepare to win. Prepare that you're going to have some success. Ideally, in your mind, know what it is that you want out of life and realize that you're going to be getting it. And you're going to be getting it very soon. Tying this whole blueprint together comes down to something very simple and very easy. You're going to have to start applying the 4 E's every day, every time, without fail, and no exceptions. And as we bring this podcast to a close, here's the challenge I have for you, okay? Today, I want you to look at your biggest adversity and ask yourself, how can I use this to level up? Whatever your adversity is, write it down. My biggest challenge was blank. How can you use that to level up? Think about that for a moment. I would love to hear about your adversity or success story. DM me or email me. I would love to bring you onto this show and share your journey. There's a few people that have hit me up, and I'd like for a time and an opportunity to bring you onto the show so we can talk about how the success blueprint, how your own solutions, how you came to where it is that you're at in a position of successfulness, if that's a word, from your own adversity, because people need help out there. I would love to bring you on the show. We're growing pretty quick. I've been doing these more consistent, and the reach is happening. It looks like there's more and more people, but I'm still trying to grow. So having some other people on the show, I think having some other people on the show would be a good idea. I might need to edit that out, or might not. And so in final and closing is this: stop waiting for things to get easier. You need to get stronger. You need to get smarter. You need to start leading with authority. Apply that KASH blueprint, and I'll look forward to speaking with you this week about the 4 E's. You are worthy, you are worthwhile. And you know, as I always say, it's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at NoComfortZone1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.